Shun was his father, and he had formed the Ultramarine channel to get back at his dad. Kai was shocked, but after a while, he was assured by her dad that he would be taking care of all the legal issues from now on, and he didn't have to worry about it. As he was returning from the car, he was once again stopped by Abe. Both of them agreed that they hated adults, but Kai pretended to not recognize Abe, so that he doesn't have to answer any of his questions or make small talk with him. Abe requested to know how everything ended, because he was working behind the scenes to save them. By chance, Hardy Shun was to try anything funny. Then his dad would step in to save them. The only reason Abe was so keen on helping them was to see more of Maru on the screen, since he was a big fan of Maru. But after all this, the top winner wasn't Maru or Shiro, but Shida and himself, as Shida didn't want Maru to join show business, but also be passionate about his acting, and Kai got to defeat his father, whom he despised. Before everything had started, Kai and Shida had discussed everything beforehand, about what to do and what not to do. This was all due to the fact that Kai thought that Shida could help him and vice versa. Kai sort of revealed his goal to her, and she too revealed his plan to Kai. Actually, she was taking her amnesia the whole time. Since she didn't have the courage to go and confront Maru head-on, she decided to choose this path. So that was the gist of it, where the tables had turned and both Kuro and Shiro now had an equal chance with Maru. But later, another surprise came to them. Momo had transferred to their school now, which made Shiro and Kuro jealous, but she too wanted to be a part of the Ultramarine channel. She had quit the agency to be beside Maru, and also continue acting. Now, the both girls were pissed off and started to chase Maru. Maru somehow was saved by Rene, temporarily. When Rene asked him about his friendship with Kai, he explained that Kai was the only one who wasn't after his fame, and did things beside him, and all of a sudden, Kuro and Shiro had found him and had started to chase him once again. Later after school, Kuro and Maru were going home together when she asked him about dinner. That was when Maru realized that she was starting to remember her sense of taste from before. After a bit of conversation, Kuro revealed to him that, actually, her amnesia wasn't real. This totally pissed off Maru. Maru was so surprised and shocked that he almost sat on the ground and looked really depressed. After pulling this unbelievably huge stunt on Maru, Kuro was shocked that he didn't like the way she reacted after being caught. Her response was totally casual, which made him feel like he couldn't trust her anymore, as he once again was played by her. He revealed that he was so sad that he even cried over it. After a while of her fooling around, he called her a black-hearted person, which was like a huge insult to her and also a huge deal for her. It was equivalent to declaration of war on her. But even after them fooling around and playing around, she didn't accept defeat. She was adamant on not wanting to apologize to him. And after a while of him called her a black heart, she beat him with her bag, and he was confused as to why it happened to him, as he was the one getting tricked. After reaching home, Maru started regretting the things that he had called Kuro, as she was now probably planning a revenge on him just to get him back, which was going to be a way worse situation. This was honestly a very frightening thought for him, as he was totally not prepared for anything worse. Although, his angel side tried to make him see the reality of the situation, his negative side overpowered it with the possibility that Kuroha just wanted petty revenge from him. On the other hand, Kuroha too was regretting everything, and was really anxious about throwing fits in her own room. She was confused as to why Maru wasn't understanding her hints, without her conveying him anything logically or directly. She was afraid that this might have driven him even farther from her. On the other hand, Shiro too was wondering why Kai had said that she was now at a less advantageous position with Maru, as his and Kuro's relationship was back to normal now. After that, she decided to call him, to give him a proposition with the assumption that he would help her. He clearly said that he would only help the party who was more interesting to him. Shiro wasn't really all up for the idea, but somehow she had to do it, as she had no other option other than approaching Kai for help. The next day, as usual, all of them had gathered at the club room of the Ultramarine Alliance. Momo too was present there. She was to join their school officially from the next week and was excited to work with everyone else. Kai then began to explain the rules of the group to everyone who was present there. Any decision of the group has to be taken by the consent of each and every member. Every member had the right to veto, which meant that if a single person didn't like the idea, then the idea would not take place, even if the idea had the majority votes. Everyone had the right to vote, the right to submit proposals, and each person carried one vote. But the catch here is, the right to veto can be applied only once per month, and the person has to sign after using it. Their group also had an unofficial member, who was Renee. They also needed the votes of all the members of the official team to recruit new members. Now, the idea for the next shoot was suggested by Kai, which was to have 3 female members in swimsuits for the video. This was going to be for a music video. They also didn't have to worry about the money, as they had recently won the commercial ad and had plenty of it to shoot a music video. Maru was completely satisfied and happy with the plan, but none of the girls were ready to be put on display in front of the whole world in swimsuits. Kuroha opposed it at first, but then this idea was supported by both the other girls as well. Then they decided to vote, which was anonymous, and surprisingly the majority was in favor of swimsuits, which was surprising as all three were opposed to it. Shiro blamed Kuro for betraying them, but then another vote was conducted which decided that no swimsuits would be encouraged during the shoot of the video. Kai suggested they shoot at Okinawa, which was still sunny, and also that they do it the same weekend. Actually, it was not possible for Kuroha as her parents had gone out on a business trip that week, and her sisters would be all alone. Kai was spontaneous and asked her to bring her sisters along as well, as unofficial members of the group. This too had another problem as her sisters had some pre-planned activities on Saturday, so Kai then asked her to come on Sunday and they'd shoot the video on Monday. After they were done discussing all the details, Shiro suggested that she'd ask Mako to join them, but surprisingly she declined her offer. It was all decided, and all of them now were set to begin their journey to Okinawa on the weekend. But suddenly, Kuroha raised another important concern, which was about their midterm exams, which were coming up soon. Actually, Maru had scored very bad grades in his previous examinations, so Kuroha was really worried about his next examinations. She asked if it was okay for them to conduct a study camp for those students who were bad at scoring good grades for the midterm exams. Now once again, it was only Maru who was bad at studies. Another thing was revealed that Momo actually didn't have to prepare for their entrance examination, but made her way into the school by money and power, and it was also clear that she too wasn't that bright of a student. After that, Kai also revealed that they would be staying at one of Shiro's dad's private islands. That was when Kuro understood that Shiro was working with Kai behind the scenes and everything was her plan. She got really defensive and pissed off, which created another disagreement and argument between her and Maru when he tried to defend Shiro. Later that night, Ai had come to Maru's house to clean the home, because Kuroha wasn't able to make it. She cleaned, and while cleaning Maru teased her a bit, and after that, Maru started to prepare her favorite dish, curry, for their dinner. After having a bite of the curry, Ai was really impressed as usual. She was so invested and impressed that she kept on complimenting him. Suddenly, she asked if he and her sister had a fight, as she could understand that something was going on between them. After a while of hesitation, Maru admitted that there was in fact something going on between them and explained the whole situation to her. After hearing the whole situation, she couldn't come to a concrete conclusion, but she totally understood the whole situation. She knew that her sister was technically wrong, but not morally wrong, because Maru was an extremely practical person and honestly, not everyone was like him. Later on she added that she just wanted him to be careful while on the trip and try to make up with her sister. On the other hand, Kai was thinking about when Shiro's dad had discovered that Rina Asagi was actually his half-sister, and he had a different mother than her. Rina didn't know about it and he requested him to keep it a secret. After that, he got a call from Shiro, revealing her plan about getting Suharu to confess to her during the trip. The next day, all of them had reached Okinawa, where it was still summer. Suharu was mesmerized by Shiro's beauty. When Maria's sister figured out what was going on with him and threatened him to not make her sister cry. Later, as all of them were wandering in the markets, Shiro was shocked when she learned that Momo could cook. Momo attacked Shiro by accusing her of not knowing how to cook. This angered Shiro, who decided to propose a cooking competition between the both of them. Now, as the contest was getting decided, this once again put a lot of stress on Maru, as he was really confused with the whole situation. Not only that, Maru didn't want Shiro and Momo fighting, but it was decided. Kai suggested that he take it easy, as all they had to do was eat it. Maru was fixated on making Kai eat everything as well, and their quarrel went on for a while, when Momo's sister interfered between them. Then she decided on a common theme for the contest, which should be hot pot. Nobody had objections, but Shiro tried to suggest making fried chicken a few times, but her voice was unheard and her suggestion was disregarded completely. After that, they went grocery shopping, where Rina also was hiding and shooting them when Momo asked her to join them and have fun while on the trip. Rina wasn't sure what to do as she wasn't used to such friendships, since she had only been out on school trips and thought that she might not fit in right with all of them. As all the girls were having lunch at a restaurant, Maru was observing them from a distance and was thinking about Kuroha. That was when Kai interrupted him and asked if he was thinking about Kuroha, where Maru got flustered and nervous and looked really predictable after that. Kai asked him about his fight with Shida, which he thought was pretty normal behavior for the both of them, since they were getting into frequent fights, but Maru insisted that this time it was not their regular fighting. After that, Kai suggested that he create a harem with all the girls around him, which obviously Maru didn't support. But later, Kai went on to add that it would be better if he tried to make everyone around him happy and create a balance and peace in the trip. Maru thought no one listened to their conversation, but he was wrong, as Momo and Rina were eavesdropping on them. Later, Momo was shocked to be revealed to such information about how men had conversations and thought of girls, although this didn't affect Rena as she was used to it and also aware of it. After that, Momo asked about her position romantically with Maru, to which Rena answered honestly that she was pretty far behind the other girls, and also she was not yet being recognized as a romantic interest by Maru. She thought this trip was the perfect chance for her to get close to Maru. After that, all of them got in the car and started to make their way to the private villa on the island where they were supposed to be staying for their video shoot. After a while, the villa was in sight. It was a beautiful villa. Suharu was so impressed by the villa that he started bowing down to Shiro, which was a funny sight for everyone, but pathetic at the same time for Rena, who started to make fun of him for bending down to people with money and power so easily. After that, they entered the villa, and once again, they were mesmerized by its beauty. The villa was so pretty and aesthetic. Later, Shiro explained to them which rooms they would be staying in. Kai and Suharu would share a room, Momo and her sister in one, Asagi and herself in one, and the rest of the 2 rooms were for the Shida sisters who were going to arrive the next day. As all of them were chilling at the balcony, Maru asked Shiro if they all could get in a bath together with swimsuits, which of course Shiro didn't agree upon. After that, Kai walked up behind them jokingly and pushed Maru from the balcony to the waters beneath, which was hilarious. Maru started throwing water and everyone was having a good time altogether. On the other hand, Akane was praising her elder sister Kuroha for getting so far within a few days. Kuroha was satisfied with the work she had done. Actually, she had prepared notes for Maru so that he could study and pass the midterms exams with good scores. Although they were fighting, that didn't change the fact that Kuroha was his elder sister and she had to take care of him and help him. As she was talking to Akane about how Maru was skipping study, she began imagining fake scenarios where Maru was having fun with the other girls who were in swimsuits, and especially with Momo, who was trying to get close to him in her imagination. This thought made her so pissed off that she almost broke their window glass as she was in the middle of cleaning it. Soon, Akane called her sister Midori to come fast due to what was happening at their house. Meanwhile, Maru was actually having a lot of fun while playing ball with Momo, while Rena was shooting them. Kai advised her to stop shooting and join them, since she too was allowed to have fun. Rena quickly took off her t-shirt and began enjoying her time with Momo. Maru was enjoying the sight when he was tackled down by Kai because Maru was staring at Rena, who was his sister. Suddenly, he got a message from Shiro, which was about her wanting to meet him privately on another beach to show him her swimsuit. With this message, Maru was overjoyed and wanted to waste no further time. She gave him the directions of the beach, and he excused himself from everyone and began heading towards the beach. As he reached the beach, Shiro was already there, waiting for him to arrive, but was a bit far from the bench. Maru was waiting at the bench when Shiro came in, and after she did, he was so shy that he couldn't even look up at her. After he looked up, Shiro stood there, but she was not exactly in a swimsuit or a bikini. She was wearing a shrug around, and when Suharu asked her about it, she replied that she did not want others to see her, so she had covered herself as she wanted him to be the first one to see her. After that, she took off the shrug and revealed her true outfit. This outfit looked really pretty, as this was a white bikini. Suharu was really mesmerized by her beauty once again and started to compliment her, calling her gorgeous and all sorts of things. This moved Shiro as she sat down on the beach because she couldn't believe that Suharu was complimenting her, which she longed for so long. After that, she asked if she could sit with him, and he started to make space for her. Surprisingly, she came and sat on his lap, which was a bold move by her, which made the both of them really shy. They got even closer, and suddenly, Suharu's phone rang and Shiro got up from his lap. Next moment, it was Momo on his phone. Momo was actually watching them from afar. Not just Momo, but all the others were present there. After that, Momo told him that actually, Rena was recording them. As Suharu and Kachai looked behind, they saw all of them, and Momo came out running from behind and grabbed Suharu, demanding to sit on his lap too, while Kachai tried to stop her. Later, at the villa, Rena was tutoring Maru when it was discovered that Rena was actually a scholarship student, and at the same time, Momo was practicing their dance. As she was done with her part, it was now Kachai's turn. Kachai wasn't good at dancing and couldn't perform well. After observing her moves, Suharu advised her to act cuter and better, and then he proceeded to display how to do it. He did it amazingly, and everyone was impressed by his moves. After he was done, he advised her to dance for someone else. That way she could perform better. Later, when the sun was about to set, Momo was preparing the hot pot and she asked Suharu with some help. After that, Suharu asked her where Shiro was. Shiro was actually out on the beach sitting alone. She was depressed as she had practiced making fried chicken, as it was the favorite dish of Suharu. Suharu then came in and sat beside her. He actually heard what she was saying. Although the hot pot was the theme of the cooking contest, he wanted her to make fried chicken for him as it was his favorite dish. After that, Suharu and Kachai held each other's hands, and Suharu was about to kiss her when suddenly both of them backed off. Then they decided to head back. As they were heading back, Kachai followed him. The next morning, Shida had finally arrived at the villa while everyone was asleep. Maru was woken up by the Shida sisters' arrival. The next morning, he was woken up by already present there. It was 11 in the morning already. He was so shocked to see all of them in the morning. And as usual, Kuroha started to tease him and the both of them started fighting once again, and Midori tried to handle Kuroha, while Ai apologized to Maru on her sister's behalf. After the whole drama was over and all of them were settled after getting ready, they gathered together in the living room in order to discuss their further plans. The plan was to see Shida's dancing skills at first, and then they could study for a bit and those who needed to practice would practice the dance at the same time. After everything was over, Kai asked if they could play on the beach, even if it was only for an hour, as of them kept chatting and Shiro thanked Maru for his advice. Next, all of them were on the beach already. Suharu and Kai were the first ones to arrive on the beach, and they were followed by the Shida sisters who looked really pretty in their swimsuits. After a while, Maru asked where Kuro was and soon, Kuro too arrived. Kuro looked stunning in the swimsuit, and Haru was mesmerized by her. After she arrived, Kai teased him for a bit. Soon, all the others arrived as well. On seeing Kachai, Midori was really surprised and impressed since Kachai was really beautiful. She told her sister that she was in no way a match to Kachai, as Kachai was ahead of her in all aspects, and also was in drinking water. She did the same thing. This was a dangerous weapon that she had and was using against him shamelessly. Maru was really struggling with everything that was happening to him. He was really scared of Kuroha, but was determined to not forgive her until she asked for forgiveness from him. But the trick that she had pulled this time was unbelievable and it was really hard for him to remain mad at her, considering the fact that he was in love with her. While thinking all these, his hand got stuck inside a shisha. After a while, he had to head back to the villa to start his study session. Kuroha was tutoring him today and had created a test paper for him to solve. Kuroha was a really good teacher and actually cared about Haru. After a while, Haru figured out that Kuro had carefully prepared a test based on the sums that he had gotten wrong before, and he was really proud of her and grateful at the same time. Actually, he got into the high school only because Kuro had tutored him before their entrance examinations. He was finally feeling motivated and decided to start with his studies properly. Today was the day when they had to set up the stage for their music video shoot. After the both of them were done studying, they headed back to the beach and started helping and setting up the stage. Everyone was equally helpful and helped out with the setting up. As he was putting up the speakers in random spots, Akane asked him where he was going to place them finally. Maru remembered that Akane was actually in the light music club at school, which meant that she had a lot of knowledge about all these things and would know better what to do with these things. Upon further inspection, it was revealed that she had actually not been active in the club, as no actual activities were going on in the club, so she had stopped going to the club meetings to waste her time. All her club members did were talk trash and played no real music, which was a big problem for Akane, so she decided to not attend the music club after the summer break. After that, Akane told him that she was unaware that he had so many friends, which made Maru think that he didn't look the type to make a lot of friends. But that was not what Akane meant. When Haru talked to all these new people, it just made her feel like he was drifting far away from her. After that, Maru called Kai so that Akane too could help them with her suggestions to set up the speakers. After everything was done setting up, the both of them loved Akane's work, and Suharu was impressed with her. After that, all of them had fun while having a barbecue party. Shiro's legs were still hurting, while Midori was taking a look at it, and Suharu too seemed really concerned with her leg. Hiro noticed this, but kept silent about it. Later during night, as Haru was wandering on the beach, he found Shiro practicing by the beach, when suddenly she got a call from her friend Mako. Haru decided to hide and eavesdrop on her. Shiro talked about how she had decided to lean on Suharu instead of catching up on him, but not be dependent on him unconditionally at the same time. After that, as that was the case with her too, the both of them were in love with Haru, even after knowing that the both of them had no chance of winning his heart back. The poison of first love had affected them as well. The next morning, Shiro was happy to see Haru and he greeted her back, which was once again noticed by Kuro. After that, they started the shoot for their music video. It was phenomenal. And when the shoot was done, Shiro tried to climb down the stairs when she tripped and was about to fall, but thankfully due to Haru stepping in, he saved her and she was not injured in the slightest. But alas, now Haru had a fracture in his arm. All of them were really worried about him now, sure even started to cry over it. After everything was over, the next day at school, Kai was once again greeted by Abe, who had come in to take the updates of what had happened on the trip. According to Kai, the winner in this situation was Kachai, as Maru's personal camera shots were full of pictures with Kachai. Next, as Kachai, Maru and Shida were staying at his place to take care of him along with her maid, which was really sad news for Shida. Suharu was actually expecting something different to happen while Kachai was staying over at his place. But unfortunately that was not the case. Kachai was in fact taking actual care of him. Suharu asked Kai, who was on the phone, for some advice. Kai was really of no